evening and welcome to TiVi Tuan-san News at 6. My name is Emma Doe. In today's news, a Russian missile is confirmed to be behind the MH17 crash. Vietnam's Ho Chi Minh City flooded by torrential rain. And more wild weather in store for South Australia. To today's top story, an international investigation has concluded that the Malaysia Airlines MH17 flight was shot down by a Russian missile. The plane was en route from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur in July 2014 when it was shot while flying over eastern Ukraine. All 298 people on board were killed. After 2 years of inquiries, investigators have found that the plane was hit by a Russian-made missile fired from a pro-Russian rebel-held village in Ukraine. Further evidence showed that the trailer which launched the missile was then returned to Russian territory. The Ukrainian government said the evidence pointed to Russia's direct involvement in the incident, while Russia has rejected the findings. In other world news, a US bill allowing the families of the September 11 victims to sue Saudi Arabian officials over their role in the attacks will soon become law. In a remarkable vote, US Congress has overturned President Obama's veto of the bill, finding overwhelming support in both the Senate and lower house. While President Obama argued the bill would undermine US-Saudi relations and expose the US to Saudi-led lawsuits, supporters of the bill say it will bring justice to the victims. 15 of the 19 hijackers in the September 11 attacks were Saudi nationals. The oil-rich kingdom remains a key US ally. Angry protests today sprung up in the Californian city of El Cajon after an unarmed black man believed to be mentally ill was fatally shot by a police officer. Protesters came together outside the police department and blocked streets to demand more information on the shooting. Police have only released a still image from the incident. It shows the man Alfred Alongo and 2 police officers, each locked in gunpoint stances. It's not clear from the photo whether Alongo was holding a weapon. Officials are still searching for several hundred tourists missing on the Indonesian Lombok Island after a volcano erupted on Tuesday. Some 1,100 tourists were evacuated from the area following the eruption, but according to the Jakarta Post newspaper, at least 100 foreign and domestic tourists are still unaccounted for. There have been no reports of injuries so far. The Mount Barujari volcano is a popular hiking destination. It's among one of Indonesia's 130 active volcanoes and sits on the earthquake-prone Ring of Fire. Pangolins have been thrown a lifeline at a global wildlife summit on Wednesday, with the United Nations banning global trade of the highly endangered species. The nocturnal ant-eating mammal is described as the world's most trafficked animal. Member states of the UN's Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species voted to list all 8 species of pangolin in the Convention Appendix, which offers the highest level of protection. Like other illicit commodities such as elephant ivory and rhino horn, Africa is the main supplier of pangolin, while the demand comes from Asia. Pangolin meat is prized as a delicacy in Asian economies such as Vietnam, while the animal scales are used in traditional medicines. To news in Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City is slowly recovering after torrential rains lashed the city for 3 consecutive days. The state-run Vietnamese news agency VN Express reported water levels peaking at 179 millimetres, the highest on record since 1975. It left major low-lying areas of the city underwater and stranded around 1,300 motorcycles. Vietnam's National Weather Forecasting Agency predicts more heavy rainfall for the south of Vietnam in the coming week. Local and foreign fashion designers will gather at an Elle fashion showing this week in Ho Chi Minh City's Gem Centre. The event's theme, called Inspiring Vietnam, will feature more than 150 clothing items. Over 100 fashion models will show off 8 of the latest collections from designers including Yiu An, Anna Vo and Jane Nishuda. The collections will include accessories made by local craftspeople. The Elle Fashion Show 2016 will take place tomorrow and Saturday. To news back in Australia, South Australia has been warned to brace for more wild weather as heavy rain and destructive winds continue to lash large parts of the state. Yesterday's severe weather conditions caused statewide blackouts after damaging winds toppled about 22 transmission towers. The Bureau of Meteorology billed the storm as a rare event, the first in 50 years. By the early hours of this morning, much of Adelaide's power had been restored, but the Bureau has warned of wild weather still to come, with wind gusts of up to 140 kilometres an hour along the west coast of the Eyre Peninsula. Up to 100 millimetres of rain could also fall across the Adelaide Hills, bringing the risk of flooding. Australian researchers have come one step closer to finding a vaccine for peanut allergies. Researchers from the Murdoch Children's Research Institute are recruiting children with peanut allergies to test a new vaccine, which could be available in 5 years. The treatment involves gradually exposing participants to peanuts along with probiotics to prevent deadly reactions. About 3% of babies have peanut allergies which persist throughout their lifetime. The research team are hoping to further their trials and eventually get the vaccine approved by the US Food and Drug Administration. That's all from TiVi Tuan-san News at 6. I'm Emma Doe, thanks for your company and have a great long weekend.